Hi, it's Fiona here. How are you doing? Have you ever had a miracle happen in your life? Something that was so darned extraordinary that you actually said, my God, that's a miracle. I was thinking about this the other day because we all know about gratitude, the importance of gratitude. That, of course, you get more of what you focus on, the law of attraction. So if you're grateful for everything that you have, you put yourself on that vibration where you're going to be attracting more of the same to you. So gratitude. And it just makes you feel so good when you acknowledge what you have and you put your attention on that instead of what you haven't got. So I was thinking about this the other day, and I was having a conversation with someone who's very much a spiritual teacher for me. And she said, I was talking about something that I really wanted to have happen. She said, you could ask for a divine miracle. And nobody ever said that to me before. I'd never thought of the concept, to be honest. I said, wow, that sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So she said, yeah. So she said, you think of it and you ask for help. Now, when I said ask for help, who are you asking? You're asking whatever concept you have of a higher power. Okay, whether it's universal intelligence, whether it's the divine, whether it's God, whether it's spirit, source, so whatever concept you have for that field of intention. There's another way of looking at it, but for that power above and beyond yourself. I mean, I'm just assuming that you do have that concept. I definitely do. It makes my life so much easier. Anyways, divine miracle. So I wrote down what it was that I really wanted to have happen. And the way that you do it is you have to, of course, hand it over. And you put it into a context that it's for your good and the good of all. Then you have to let go. You're handing it over. You just let it go, handing it over. But honestly, this thing, it was a contract. I'll be honest with you. It was a contract that I was in. And I really wanted to get out of the contract with this company for services that I just knew I no longer needed. So I was contracted for another 6-month services that was going to cost me a substantial amount of money. And I thought, wow, I've signed the contract. These people are very real sticklers for the contract. How is this going to come about? I had the conversation with them, but 3 days later, they didn't immediately say, hey, yeah, no problem, we'll do that. No, it was a conversation. But at the end of the conversation, they actually agreed to let me out of the contract, which, for them is extremely unusual. And then I got to thinking about, the point of gratitude is that you focus on what you already have, and that lovely feeling helps raise your vibration, raise your frequency, and put you in a good place to attract more of the same. So I got myself thinking, wouldn't it be the same with divine miracles? Couldn't I show gratitude for those divine miracles? So I just had one, remember? And I started to look for evidence, possibly, of other occasions when I'd had divine miracles and not even acknowledged or given thanks for it being a divine miracle. And there was at least 3 that instantly came to mind. And I'm sharing this with you so that you might do the same and have something really great occur for you. Because there's no reason whatsoever why it should happen for me and not for you. No reason at all. So here's a couple of examples that I thought of. I thought about the time, really many years ago, when I was just starting out as a coach, had next to no clients, was pretty broke. And I visualized, I needed to move. I was in this big shared house with like 6 or 7 people. It was a bit of a mess, I'll be honest. It was not the ideal place to set up a coaching practice, you see. I needed somewhere nice and pristine, but I was pretty broke. And I visualized this beautiful white house, pristine on the outside, pristine on the inside. And I'm going to be honest with you, I moved into that place as I visualized it, as I saw it in my mind, I moved into that place within a week through a series of opportunities and coincidences. That house got offered to me for next to nothing. And I lived there very happily for 4.5 years. And I started my practice there. And that was the main place where I started my business. Now, to me, that was a miracle, without a shadow of doubt, because that was completely unexpected. It wasn't logical. That's the thing with a miracle. It's just not logical, because there you were, your current circumstances getting this terrific result. It's illogical. Second thing I thought of was, that was so interesting. So I really wanted my son to go into this particular school. I think he was about 12 at the time. And I'd found this specialist dyslexic school in London that was perfect. I went along for my interview with the headmaster. It was a pretty expensive school, to be honest. So I don't know whether he thought me on my own perhaps couldn't afford the fees. I don't know. But I did my best to impress him. I don't think it really worked. Because at the end of it, he said, well, we actually don't have a place. We are pretty oversubscribed. There is a waiting list. We'll put you on the waiting list. I said, of course, that's great. Thank you so much. So I thought to myself, I don't know what's going to happen there, but I just know that's the best school for Jamie, for my son. And he'd been to a few before that. So I just let it go, And then one day, it was on a Wednesday morning about 11 o'clock. I do remember it so well. The phone rang. In the days when we had landlines, phone rang. And this lady came on the phone. She says, hello, I'm Mr. Carlisle's secretary. I can't remember her name, but anyway, Mr. Carlisle's secretary. I'm just reaching out to you because we haven't heard back from you. We haven't had receipt of our offer. I thought to myself, there's something funny here, but I'm not going to say a word. I said, I'm so sorry. I don't think I got that. Was it in the post? She said, yeah, we posted it out. I said, goodness me, I'm so sorry about that. But obviously, I would be delighted to take up that place. She said, yeah, well, we thought you were keen. All I need to do now is just take a deposit for the first term. I said, I'll just get my credit card. Guys, that was the strangest thing. Stranger, to this day, I don't know how that happened. But I can tell you, I didn't raise any questions. I simply paid the deposit and I went along with it. And my son started in that school probably about 6 weeks later, the September term. And it was the best school for him. And he stayed there quite happily until he was 16. And then one other time, I was thinking to myself, I'd always been renting houses because, I'll be honest, I never was the best saver in the world. So I just hadn't saved up enough for a decent deposit. And in London, it's a substantial amount, So I figured out that I needed about £60,000 to be able to go out, get a flat in the area that Jamie was now going to school in Fulham, in London. But I'll be honest, I could not see how the heck I was going to be saving £60,000. I also needed to do it pretty soon so that we could get a flat near the school. So one day, about a month before Jamie was due to start in the new school, my assistant at the time, Ray, called me and he said, are you sitting down? I said, no. Do I need to be? What's this? He said, listen, those courses that you wrote for that organization. I said, yeah, I'd written some courses for an organization. I completely, forgotten about it. And they said, you should put an invoice in. I said, okay, well, let's do that then. And they'll pay it straight away. And he said, the first invoice is for £45,000. And then next week, we have to put another invoice in, and that's for £15,000. And they'll pay it straight away. I can tell you, I needed to sit down. So I had £60,000 from nowhere, that I could then go out, and I went out that very afternoon, I can tell you, to look at flats. And I got a gorgeous flat just around the corner from the school. So, you know, when I think about things like that, I think, what did I do? Now, with the house, with the flat, with the 60,000, here's all that I did. Here's all that I did. I stopped myself looking in the rental section of newspapers. So I used to be always looking at the rental sections, thinking, oh, maybe there's something nice, maybe there's something nicer than what I've got, all of that. And I just forbade myself to do that. And I turned my attention exclusively to, you know, houses that you buy, the for sale section in the area that I was wanting to move in. So if I think about it, I started to focus exclusively on what I wanted, even though I didn't have the money. So in a way, what I was doing, didn't even think about it at the time, but looking back, letting go of the how. Letting go of the how. That was absolutely a divine miracle that money came in from, shall we say, a totally unexpected source. So think about it. Why don't you identify something that for you would really support your life? I mean, look, it may not be a Ferrari. I can't promise that. It's got to be something that really supports your life, I believe, that's for your highest good and for the good of all. So, you know, please don't take my word for it. Go ahead and try it. And look, if it works for gratitude, that the more you focus on reasons to be grateful, and then you attract more of the same, then why not for divine miracles? So have a go. Set your intention. And then just let go of it. Don't fret about it. Don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. But just have a go. Yeah, and let me know. I would so love to know what you think about this. Put a little comment down there for me to see. And if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And see you on the next video.